You know, we are here to expose the stupidity. We really are. We're here to expose what isn't right in the world. A few months ago, maybe almost a year ago, Holden Armenta was a young boy going to a Chiefs game, and he dressed up in full Chiefs garb. He had one side of his face painted black, the other side of his face painted red. And there's a really, really, really stupid, racist, ridiculous, I guess he's a journalist, but really he's just a guy that had a job, doesn't anymore, because he was African American and he hated white people. So Deadspin gave him a job. His name is Karan J. Phillips. He'd been fired, I think, at least I'd been told everywhere that he had been. Well, Phillips wrote about this young boy being the face of racism. He wrote about this young boy, and Deadspin put only one side of his face that was painted, the black side, to make it seem that here's a young boy whose parents allowed him to go to a game in blackface. Well, obviously, that was incredibly stupid because Karan J. Phillips, well, is incredibly stupid, and Deadspin was, well, once a place where people went. Now it became a place, well, people don't give a crap. Phillips had been in hiding. Now he surfaced with the insufferable and the always victim, Jemele Hill. Here's the face paint of young Holden. There's a lawsuit going, and in that lawsuit, they are trying to get a lot of money out of Deadspin. I hope they do. You see clearly one side of his face is red, the other side black, full garb, little kid celebrating his team. But no. That's not what old Karan J. Phillips did. Karan J. Phillips put that side of his face on. The NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in blackface and native headdress. So you can't even wear a native headdress, according to Karan J. Phillips. This is too funny to me. Now, the level of stupidity, this is why I love working at OutKick, because we expose the absolute stupid, wokest, most ridiculous stuff ever. So a lawsuit ensued. The family's going to get a ton of green. Don't know where Deadspin is off to. Certainly don't know where Karan J. Phillips is off to. But the Barbara Walters of the African Americans, the most in-depth reporter, I'm being facetious on both, ever, Jemele Hill, had Karan J. Phillips on. I don't know, whatever show she has, whatever show she's whining about me or OutKick on. And didn't seem to ask a single thing about the only thing interesting about Karan J. Phillips or Karen, whatever the hell his name is, and that is a lawsuit against him for being a dumbass. Didn't think to ask. Why? Well, because let's be honest. Got to protect our own. That's what Jemele Hill is doing. She knows, obviously, about the lawsuit. She knows, obviously, about the stupidity of Karan J. Phillips. I had a guy, I believe he used to work with him at the Daily News or wherever the hell it was, talk about this clown years and years and years ago. So I've always had my eye on him because he's a moron. Well, anyway, our girl instead, Hill asked Phillips about the politics of the Super Bowl. The politics of the Super Bowl. Harumph. And the racism black athletes still allegedly face. It can't go away. So before you say, even you African Americans that watch this show, and many of you do, before you say, oh, please, Hill, she has to do this. This is what she does. She has no knowledge of any sport, can't break down any defense, offense, can't speak with any kind of intellect really on anything. But if she doesn't have race, she can't have a job. I don't know what job she currently has. She had a great job, screwed it up. But the truth of the matter is she must do this. You can't have Jemele Hill talking about actual sport because she don't know. How would she know? Why? Because she walked into locker rooms one time and took a peek and asked a question, maybe a picture? I don't know. You got to do this. Didn't ask about, all right, where are we at with the lawsuit? Didn't ask about, hey, how you feeling? See, this is racism. Unabashed racism. And we love it. And we expect it out of these two. But we got to report it because it's too good. It's too good. It's absolutely riveting. No, it's riveting. Black athletes facing racism. Now we understand Hill is a full-time race grifter. She is. who pretends to dislike white people online for trade, despite hanging out with mostly white people in her real life. That said, she's a former newspaper reporter, still technically refers to herself as a journalist. I refer to myself as having a full head of hair. You can refer to yourself as anything. But Jemele Hill is anything but a journalist, and Carone Phillips is anything but a journalist. Now, I'm sure they'll come back at me and say this is all race-related. No, it's stupid-related. I mean, the thing you got to do, and we've seen this out of Hill before, we did what we do to everybody. When we see somebody acting in a hypocritical way, particularly a national journalist like Hill did, relative to her tweets about Caitlin Clark, we call it out. Of course, Jemele Hill said we used that time to disparage black women. No, we disparaged you. Because you, I don't care if you're black, white, green, or purple. We've talked about many white people. We've made fun. We've called out the hypocrisy. We've done whatever. But this is too funny. This is a guy facing a major lawsuit we don't think to ask. We don't think to ask. Supposedly she's a former newspaper reporter. Right. She got the six at SportsCenter. Right. All right, she writes about race for The Atlantic, whatever the hell it is. Right. So we figured she'd at least feel an obligation to acknowledge Phillips' defamatory behavior we thought wrong. Jemele, this is the letter that was sent to Jemele Hill by us here at OutKick. Jemele, saw your interview with Carone J. Phillips. I'm curious, why did you not ask him about purposely defaming a 9-year-old boy by wearing blackface by only showing half of his face? He is facing a lawsuit for that article, Phillips says. Moreover, he knew he had used a deceptive photo. This is what makes Phillips even worse. He knew he had used a deceptive photo and refused to update it until the family threatened legal action 11 days later. Did you not think that was a worthy topic? Did you not respect him? Do you still respect him after doing that to a child? Hill did not comment because, well, Hill doesn't have to. She did what she does. It's the funniest stuff ever. Everybody wants to be treated equal, except they want to be treated equal but special. That's where we're at. I've talked about this many, many times, and everybody that's a human being that has any kind of intelligence knows it. Treat me equal. Well, white dudes get fired. White dudes make mistakes and get called out on it. White dudes, white women put out tweets, feel bad about it, and delete them, and get called out on them all the time. Or do you want to be special? Equal. Everybody's prejudiced. I want equal. You're treated equal, but then you want to be special. No. Carone J. Phillips, the only thing interesting about him, the only thing, is that he is being sued by the family of, wait for it, a 9-year-old boy. The dude went out of his way. This is how low this goofball is. This guy went out of his way to defame a 9-year-old boy with a picture that was intentionally deceptive on a national website. That's the kind of lowlifes these folks are. Then, of course, Phillips, for a while, claimed victim status, and now he's being sued. Hill calls herself a journalist, which has been exposed. She's not. She's a race baiter. We get it. We know it. We understand it. And we appreciate it. She gives us content. But as a journalist, that would be the first question you would ask. Now, somebody says, hey, Dakich, what do you know about being a journalist? What are you talking about? I studied this in college just like these idiots did. I'm not even sure they did. I did. I don't know if guys you see on TV actually studied and majored in telecommunications. I did. So I kind of, sort of, maybe know a little bit of what I'm talking about here. But anyway, the thought that these folk are any type of journalists, Phillips and Hill, I'm talking about specifically because I know how the words get all turned around, is laughable. A journalist doesn't deceive a 9-year-old boy and his family to the point where 11 days after you make a mistake, you finally correct it. And oh, by the way, let's correct my mistake. Carone Phillips' mistake wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. Because Carone Phillips, like Jemele Hill, if you asked them to talk about coaching or offense or defense or sports in any way, shape, or form, they can't do it. So to keep hope alive, you must keep racism alive in their world. Man, do I hope that family sues the living shit out of Deadspin and Corone Phillips and gets every dime they're asking for, because they certainly deserve it. Hey, another one of our favorites, the human bowling ball. Danny Libtards mad again. Yeah, he's mad again. Nah, you can't go a day. He's pissed that someone within the Miami Heat organization leaked the story that Pat Riley reportedly cried while pleading with Jimmy Butler to work things out with the franchise. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd cry. Apparently, they were discussing their dead fathers. He was trying to relate to Butler through the death of both of their fathers. Man, come on, Pat Riley. You're Pat Riley. Slick back hair, tough guy image, right? Came up hard scrabble. Played for Rupp. Harumph. What are you doing crying? I get it. Sometimes you talk about your dead father and you're sad. I got a passed away father and I get sad. I get it. The idea of using crying to be male weakness. Nobody used crying to be male weakness. They told what happened. See, here's the thing. Those of us that don't subscribe to the Dan Libtard, the Jemele Hill, the Pablo Torre, and those guys, they have to spin all of this in a certain way. No one's saying it's weakness. What I've read is just people simply saying he cried. Now, I'm with you. I don't understand leaking stuff. You know, I've never been a leaker. I remember telling somebody during the Bob Knight era, I think it was the Jim Rome show, yeah, you got the wrong guy. If I'm going to leak stuff, it's going to be in my own book. But I got to tell you, that leaking stuff, he ain't wrong about that. No, they're not wrong about that at all. Leaking stuff sucks. Shouldn't be allowed, shouldn't happen. But don't twist this into male weakness. So what? All right, let's go the other way. So what? So they twisted into male weakness. Big deal. Who cares? See, Libtard, same thing. Libtard's the same guy. He couldn't tell you how a defense gets dissected. He couldn't tell you who to get a last shot for, when to get the last shot, how to get the last shot. He couldn't tell you how to handle a team that's struggling in a locker room. He couldn't tell you jack shit. So he's always got to, as a sports guy, as a journalist, he's always got to spin it to some way. Now it's about weakness. Honestly, like the idea that what is male is to repress the feelings. Why? No, it's not. Push them down secretly, not show anyone that you're hurt about the death of your father. No, it's not. No, it's really not. Not anymore. I mean, it's not. I get it. See, these people live in the 70s, but they have to. They can't report on anything Pat Riley is actually doing, so they've got to spin it this way to make them interesting. Nobody's saying anything. It's like when I tell a story about my life, you know, people get mad. Well, why are you doing? Because it's my life. I can tell a story. Everybody else can tell a story. Why can't I tell a story? Nobody thinks anymore that male's crying and you're supposed to repress. Nobody does that. These dudes have to stay with these vibes or else they're not relevant. That's all you're seeing this morning. Like that you got to keep that buried inside private. And if you need to blabber on the toilet with the door locked, fine. But don't show that to anybody. It's so uniquely male and so uniquely repressed and stupid, it's totally unsurprising to see it used to slap Pat Riley across the face. All right. When Pat Riley is someone that I've known to cry when he talks about his father since I've known him. All right. Okay. All right. Great. I mean, but okay. Maybe, just maybe, people inside that organization are pissed at Riley. Maybe, just maybe, Riley treats somebody inside that organization like shit. And maybe they wanted to leak that Riley cried. Maybe you're taking it the wrong way, Libtard. Maybe they were describing what happened in that meeting. And you decide that men are supposed to keep it repressed. Shoot, I've cried on this show. I've cried on other shows. I don't feel that way at all. I don't feel like men are repressed at all from showing their emotions. I don't. I really never have. But you do, so you're right. No. Look, guy got mad at Riley, didn't like how he handled it. So he said what happened. Riley cried. Maybe he did it that way. Maybe Riley wanted it out. Maybe Riley told him to leak it. Maybe Riley said, this is how much I cared about Jimmy Butler and I care about our players, that I'm willing to sit down and cry with him. Libtard doesn't know. He's surmising this. We all know, of course, when you leak something like somebody cried in a meeting, particularly adult male, there's two ways this is going to go. It's either going to go, oh, what a sensitive guy that cares about his players and is willing to expose himself to his players. Mentally, dumbass, not physically. Or it's going to be how weak. Hey, what are you going to do? That's for you to decide. Libtards decided to make it a negative. I look at it as a positive. As a former coach, hey, sometimes you cry with your players. As a former player, sometimes you cry with your coach. Libtards, put down the donut. Grab yourself a salad. Jog. It'll make you feel at least a little like an athlete, so maybe you understand. It's unbelievable. This is unbelievable, too. We stay in Miami, which I guess is where Libtards is. All right, listen to this. This is where the whole world, I told you before, and I'll tell you again, the whole world is not to believe all women. The whole world is not to believe all men. The whole world is not to believe victim, not to believe plaintiff. No, it is to believe the evidence. Period. Because you get situations like this, particularly with dudes like Tyreek Hill, who are really sexual farm animals. They just get that thing out and they stick it wherever they can stick it. And whatever happens, happens. So Tyreek Hill. More details have emerged about Tyreek Hill's romp with a big old plus-size OnlyFans model. Yeah, this gets good. Wait for it. He ran football drills that resulted in the plus-size influencer breaking her leg. Hey, honey, I'm an NFL player. Let's go outside. I'm going to show you how I tackle your big ass. I'm telling you, man, I love pro athletes. I do. Pro athletes are the best. The level of stupid, the level of hijinks, the level of ignorance that they and their conquests get into are unbelievable. Listen to this one here. This is a good one. So, while this was going on, and he breaks this woman's leg, he is engaged to his current wife, Kita Vaccaro. Now, Kita, great name, awesome name. The speedy wide receiver revealed he researched 6'1", 250-pound, the woman named Hall, by viewing plenty of her sex tapes before messaging her via her Instagram. So Kita's a beautiful human being, right? So Kita's banging everybody, putting it on video. She gets a DM from this little guy, Tyreek Hill, finds out he's worth hundreds of millions or whatever the hell he is. By the way, that'll be gone by percentage. So listen to this. This all started May of 23. Hill denied being especially attracted to Hall, 35, who sells tall girl content, BBW, B/G, crushing, face sitting. Yeah. Goddess worshiping and giantess vids on her subscriber-only page. He told her attorney, Mike Trunk, that he wanted to have sex with the statuesque blonde mom because she's tall, as a fetish maybe. Now remember, my man here is engaged, and he's got like 10 kids everywhere. Yeah. I know we're not supposed to make fun of that. I know we're not supposed to take a moral stance on that, but I am. It's asinine. It's ridiculous. The dude is like this fox I got out here. I mean, somebody told me, man, you better be careful. You got a fox. You can have a bunch of other little foxes, just like I did with raccoons. Tyreek Hill is just throwing that thing. And women are stupid enough to receive that thing. Ah, jeez. If he weren't an NFL player, they would be calling him little mini micro thug. Kevin Hart light. I can go on. Anyway, her complaint, listen to this complaint, says the 8-time Pro Bowler flew her to South Florida. That's a big thing. Hey, man, you going to fly me in? Look at that face I made. It's horrible. Flew her to South Florida to hang. Yeah, we're going to hang at my mansion in Southwest Ranches, and suggested she join him for practice drills so she could learn more about offensive linemen, the position that her son plays. Seems pretty good so far. Anyway, Hall claims that Hill became aggressive and charged at her with crushing force. Yeah, after she knocked him off balance in front of his family and his trainer. Now, this is where it gets good. In her own deposition, listen to this. After he broke her leg, Hall says, screw it. I know he's engaged, got a bunch of kids. She admitted to having sex with Hill. So Hall, the big gal, had sex with Hill, the mini guy, on the night of her accident and again the next day. Asked why she slept in Hill's bedroom, she replied, I wanted comfort. I felt vulnerable. I was injured. Hey, baby, how much they pay you? Hey, baby, how you doing? Yeah, I know I broke your leg, and I know I got a fiance, and I know I got 800 kids running around, but hey, you want a shtup? Oh, yeah, baby. I need comfort. Whip that thing out. Let's see what's going on around here. I'm telling you, man, what a world. What an absolute freak show. The world's a freak show, and I'm here for it. And it's not just sports. It's politics. It's crazy-ass people in Worcester, Mass. The world is nuts. And who among us isn't here for that? I sure the hell am. Are you kidding me? Hey, baby, I'm going to fly you and your big ass to South Florida. We're going to play some football. I'm going to break your leg, and then we're going to shtup for 2 days. And don't worry about that phone call from Keita. She understands. She want the money. She got to give what Tyreek Hill wants, baby. Jeez. I got more beef. What's that smell? It's the smell of beef. That's right. Former Carolina Panther legends aren't happy. Cam Newton, Steve Smith Jr. are beefing, yo. They're going at it. Why? Because Newton made comments about when he joined the Panthers. He made them on Radio Row about the franchise, the Panthers franchise, while chatting with Travis Hunter. He stated, I went into a locker room of losers. Oops. Wait a second. Predictably, those comments did not sit well with Steve Smith Sr., who will whoop your ass at a moment's notice, by the way. Steve Smith will whoop that ass. And he'll whoop that ass strong and hard and all day long. Kind of like Tyreek Hill in the big old hall in the sack. Strong and hard and all day long. I'm having fun today. Thank you, Nick and Nick, for putting this out here. I like it. We got beef. We got Steve Smith Jr. beef. And I tell you what, though. I saw Cam Newton throwing dudes around at some football camp. Oh, this would be a good fight. You could potentially be the first pick. This is Cam Newton. But, bro, you have no way of impacting the game the way a quarterback does. Hunter isn't a quarterback. You can lock down the number one receiver. You can make impact plays on offense all you want. Still not like quarterback. My issue is that when I was the first pick, I went into a locker room of losers. Wow, just honest. Guys didn't know how to win. Guys didn't know how to prepare. They didn't take themselves seriously to realize we were 2-14. There was a lot of 2-14 in the mentality of those guys. Oh, man, I said this yesterday. That's like Michael Jordan. That's like Michael Jordan when he came into the Bulls with Orlando Woolridge, and I don't know if San Quentin Daly was there, but they had a bunch of clowns on the team that were smoking weed, doing crack, whatever, at least according to Michael Jordan. In The Last Dance, he didn't even stay at the team hotel. I figured he'd get busted. Anyway, long story short, Steve Smith Sr., who has been seen on television whooping ass, even going back to his playing days, didn't like it. Here's what Steve Smith Sr. had to say. Steve Smith Sr. said, 53-man locker room minus one equals 52 losers. Wow. Breaking news to 89. Apparently, Steve Smith Jr., Sr. is 89. Here's what he also said. I've watched and listened from afar as you, Cam Newton, talk about Panthers. None of us are perfect. Yeah, we were 2-14 before you blessed us with your presence. The way you have talked about the Panthers lately, I'm disappointed. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm done. Tell you this, I don't blame guys for taking up for themselves. I'm currently on a rampage that says in 1985, and I do believe this, Bob Knight threw an entire season. I don't know why. But all of a sudden, these things start popping up. They start popping up on my YouTube, and I've started watching games, and I'm like, well, that was weird. No, it's weird. You look back at stuff, and you're like, Cam Newton looked back, probably right. They were 2-14. Now, sometimes I don't agree with Parcells where he says you are what your record says you are. I mean, there may have been a ton of injuries. You know what I'm saying. But I look forward to see if this beef goes farther because I tell you what, man, Steve Smith Sr., he ain't afraid of whooping that ass. He's not. Detroit sports radio host Mike Valente has always been a jackass. He's always been a jackass to me. He's always been the kind of guy that is a real tough guy behind a mic. I mean, he's a really, really tough guy behind a microphone. He's not holding back over the awful Super Bowl commercials America endured on Sunday. All right, Mike, you go. He thinks commercials should be all about beer, boobs, burgers, and laughter. Starting to like Valente. Kind of digging Valente. Hold on. I don't think he's wrong about this. Let's look at that one more time. Beer, boobs, burgers, and laughter. Beer, me likey. Boobs, always have. Always. Some guys like the ass, some guys the legs, the hair. I've been two things my whole life, and I've been very clear about this. Eyes and boobs. No, it's true. Eyes and boobs. The eyes tell you a lot, and boobs are awesome. I stand with Clay Travis. This goes back a long time. You know, women talk about the same stuff, so just shut up. Dakich, I don't like him. He's got a big goiter on the side of his head. I remember girls telling me back in the day when I was a frickin' stud. I go, what was wrong? You're too skinny. You're right. My wife makes fun of my ass. So shut up with that, but Valente is not wrong. Beer, boobs, burgers, and laughter. Tom Brady and Snoop. What a waste of money. I'm with you on this one. I'm sorry. If you were catering to an ardent racist somewhere, newsflash, you didn't change anyone's mind. True story. No, not true story. True statement. If some racist dude was out there and he sees Snoop, who, of course, famously was a Crip or a Blood, one of those clown-ass gangs out in New York or in L.A., and has been involved in posting videos of killing Donald Trump et al. If he's your guy for hate, I don't know, man, to stop hate. If I were a flaming racist somewhere and I saw Tom Brady and Snoop, I'd be one of two things. Get the out of here. Or, man, how'd Snoop turn that around? Maybe I can cash in on that. Because Snoop's the biggest fraud in America. He's a sex trafficker. He is a pimp. That's a sex trafficker. And he is about as hateful, or was about as hateful as any dude ever. His agent got to him, figured it out, and now he's America's sweetheart. Bah. Tom Brady, hey, look, I don't know, but if I'm that Moynihan lady that was having a kid and he dumped her for some hot model that eventually dumped him, I might hate him too. It's kind of funny. I get a kick out of these commercials. Valente, for once, is not wrong. You don't change anybody's mind. I don't need to hear about girls' flag football in all 50 states. I don't need it. Not interested. I don't need ads for Jesus, literal Jesus. I am up for that. I am. I think the more we can put good in front of us, I mean real good, not snooped good, I mean real good. Those commercials hit me a little bit. They're like, I'm going to go be a nicer person. It lasts about 10 minutes, but I am currently reading the Bible, so I'm not mad at that commercial. $8 million a pop. If you are not a religious person, these commercials didn't make you start. I'm not sure about that. I got to tell you, I'm pretty much John Q. Public, and those commercials at least make me think. They do. Maybe not Valente, maybe not others, but don't tell me everybody doesn't. No, I agree. If you're a flaming racist, seeing Snoop Dogg, and Tom Brady, don't be racist or end racist in the end zone, not doing nothing for me. But as a religious dude, I kind of dig those. I do. Yeah, what are you going to do? Everybody can disagree. What do we want? How about this? Beer, beauty. Had about 8 last night. Yeah, we were sitting around. My wife and I played simulator golf. Sat around. I didn't have 8. I had about 4. Yeah, all good. Boobs, I've already described. Burgers, love them. And laughter. I am. If you can make me laugh, I'm all in. That's one of my real charms. That's why I've always hung around hot women. Yeah, no kidding. I can make you laugh. Usually pretty good at it. That's America. What are we doing? Those commercials were awful. The only one I liked was the sloth commercial, which may have well been filmed in this office. Made me laugh. Stop with the crap. I get it. I do. Yeah, good for Valente. He's finally right about something. Yeah, not bad. This is really funny. You know, it is amazing how we in the media, I guess you in the media, I'm an entertainer. We spin things however we want to spin things. Glamour magazine. Is that the one that George pleasured himself to in the damn bathroom? Was it Glamour or was it Cosmo? I can't remember in Seinfeld. Why Taylor Swift getting booed at the Super Bowl was even more chilling than you think. From my seat at Super Bowl 59, the crowd's disparate reactions to Swift and Trump felt like a chilling microcosm of our society. Good. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? For years and years and years, Eagles fans have been booing the number one fan of the other team. And I don't know if old Glamour magazine did any in-depth research on this, but hey, The country likes Donald Trump. The country likes the fact that we have a sense of law and order. The country likes the fact that we're 95% down in terms of the clowns coming across of our border. The country likes the fact that our economy is on the way back. No, really. No, really. It does. And that is Glamour magazine, the one that George was taking a dump to, stripping himself. And his mother heard her back, George. Anyway, that's the real value of Glamour magazine. Oh, by the way, when you're the number one fan and you're a very visible fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, guess what? Folks are going to boo you, particularly those from Philadelphia. But it is chilling and good. It is a microcosm. We don't like Taylor Swift as an Eagles fan, and the country loves Donald Trump as human beings that have a rational thinking brain. Ocha capesta, my eyes are burned. Since Donald Trump took office, there have been several times I felt chilled by the rapid increase in misogyny seeping in our country. But watching Taylor Swift at Super Bowl 59 booed by a crowd of thousands on Sunday night was a new low. Perhaps the moment would have felt less visceral if not for the fact that less than an hour earlier, the crowd had exploded, this time with applause to see Donald Trump on the same screen. As an image of the president, stone-faced, standing in a salute, a roar of approval and cheers was deafening. Yeah, you're right. It is a microcosm of our society that we're back, that we respect people that are working for us, that we respect people that respect the military. Yes, it is. I wonder how this Glamour lady would have responded were she in my shoes a few years ago, sitting broadcasting a game at Michigan State's Breslin Center. And the entire crowd, 12,000 people, chanted, "We hate Dakich. We hate Dakich. We hate Dakich." I stood up and waved. After the game, Tom Izzo said, "Boy, if I'd have known that, I'd have joined in the chant." I never got an apology from the AD. I never got an apology from the president. Izzo and I MF'd each other, and now we're good. That's how I operate. In fact, he sent me a really nice text the other day. We went back and forth. You mother, blah, 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 you know, because he brought my son into it, which had he seen me on that particular day, his little ass would have had a problem. But it went viral. Izzo supporting hate. It went viral. Michigan State supporting hate. Nobody ever did anything about it. That's not like booing. That's saying we hate. Next time I went to Michigan State, I had to have 3 cops around me. And even then, guys were in my face. Even then, camera right there, guy tried to hit me. I couldn't do anything, right? I wonder how Glamour magazine would feel about that. I mean, I'm a man. I'm one of the great men in our society. That's what happened to me. I don't know. I did have a great comment, though, to one of the richest guys there. I don't know if I can say it without getting in trouble. It wasn't racist. It was Larry Nassar-ish to this one guy. It wasn't even rude about girl. It was about his university and what they did supporting Larry Nassar, which pissed me off. And it made this guy go from booing me and yelling, "We hate," to going, "Oh, my God." They were in no position to hate. But how would Glamour feel about that? I don't know. To me, the disparate reactions felt like a message. They are. That the Super Bowl, one of the biggest culture events in country, has been reclaimed by Trump and the type of toxic masculinity he appears to be a beacon of. And he and his supporters seem to be living for it. Well, no. It's a sporting event, and we voted for Trump, and Trump is doing what we voted for. Nobody voted for Taylor Swift. People are paying Taylor Swift millions of dollars. She wore red. She's the face of Chiefs fandom, and she got booed at the biggest Chiefs game ever. Simple. I get it, though. You got to see the words keep creeping in, right? Toxic masculinity, Nazis, racism. That's what they do. They got nothing. I got to get to this freak show. Hey, Clay Travis said it yesterday. Name me one masculine Democrat. I will name you and I will show you a bunch of insane. We need loony bins opened up again. We do. I'm sorry. Look at this. Worcester, Mass. City Council voted to make the city a sanctuary for transgender and gender-divisive people. Look at how deranged these people are. Look at how deranged these people make themselves out to be. And they all look the same. I'm telling you, you cannot come up. Clay is so right. You cannot come up, not one time, not ever, with a dude that's masculine. I mean, my man Chuck Schumer tried to cook a burger, didn't know how to do it. Doug Imhoff, is so masculine that he hits women. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Impregnates them, gets them, abortions. That's the masculinity of that party. The only masculine folks in the Democratic Party among liberals are the women. But let's look at this shit show. Let's look at this absolute freak show that's going on in Worcester, Mass. at the city council. Watch this stuff.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Up, please?
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face.
I don't know what to don't. Hey, it's a good show. We got the bearded lady. It's a good one. Everybody's a victim. Everybody's going to die. Hey, I asked my wife yesterday, how's your rights? How's your rights going as a woman? Remember all these clowns told us, and literal clowns, that your rights as a woman will be gone if Trump got elected. My wife's rights seem to be pretty good. Ask my neighbor, hey, how's your rights? How's your rights as a woman? You hanging in there? That's Gritty. A beautiful woman that listens to all of our shows. I asked her, how's your rights? Great. I'm going to die because I'm trans and Donald Trump. Really? All right. I mean, it's all the same bullshit. Is there any normal people? Is there anybody that isn't a wildebeest, isn't insane, isn't nuts, isn't in Congress trying to cook frozen burgers? That is a liberal. It seems to me the normal people, Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. said, I'm not doing this crap anymore. We're getting the hell out of here. Who could blame them? It's insane. Anyway, I know that's some kind of phobic, but hey, look, any reasonable human being would look at that and go, geez, we got the bearded lady. We got a circus. Hey, before we go to break, here's a daily reminder. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so don't you miss any of the action. That's right, it's good action. Tommy, Charlie, Hot Mike, Ricky, Clay, myself. Sack up and subscribe today. Like, subscribe, watch, whatever.